Hi everyone, welcome to the Healthy Heart Head Start Evaluation Plan. This evaluation strives to create a greater understanding of the impact the Healthy Heart Head Start program had on participants that completed the entire program. It was developed to increase awareness among women in their 30s in the San Francisco Bay Area on heart disease's prevalence among their age group and increase knowledge around preventable risk factors to lessen their chances of developing the disease. The program provided education and tools to reduce dietary saturated fat and sodium intake, as well as increase physical activity as a protective component. Evaluation of these components will be needed to understand the impact of the program and determine if increased knowledge, confidence in taking action, and sustaining behavior change were achieved. The evaluation of these factors will ultimately determine if the program is worth the cost and resources and allow for improvements in the program structure for future replication. Findings will be significant not only for the participants and their interpersonal networks, but also for the funders and stakeholders involved in the development and implementation of the program. Stakeholders include the local Bay Area American Heart Association chapter, whose Healthy Heart tools and experience were used in developing the individual lesson components for an effective approach to awareness and motivation. Their experience in developing community-level resources was extremely beneficial, and their funding was critical for program development, recruitment, implementation, and evaluation. By-Right, a local health food grocery store, worked in conjunction with the goals of the program by reinforcing available foods that are alternatives when consumers are looking to lower their dietary saturated fat and sodium intake. Heart-healthy foods were designated in stores with special signage calling out their health benefits. They also offered discounts on those foods, which provided incentive to participants in the program, as well as aided in reducing cost barriers to change. The final stakeholder is Good Eggs, a local meal and produce delivery service. Food shopping was identified as a barrier for the target audience, so the convenience and heart-healthy options they provide are extremely valuable in making healthier choices. They also offer discounts for first-time users. All three stakeholders were involved in the evaluation plan development as well as program development, as they all had specific questions they wanted answered by the findings to determine the success of the program. They will all be included and engaged in the implementation of the evaluation plan by assisting in interpreting the findings. This logic model for the program outlines all inputs, activities, outputs, and ideal outcomes. The health belief model and the social cognitive theory were the basis for the theoretical variables and include outcome expectations, perceived barriers, self-efficacy, and behavioral knowledge. There are goal behaviors for each of those mediators, but the ideal long-term outcomes of the program are ultimately to show that 35% of participants have an overall improvement in BMI or sustained healthy BMI versus baseline at a 5-year follow-up. Also, the goal is to show an overall decrease in heart disease risk compared with women in the target audience who did not receive the intervention, which will be measured by showing that 20% of participants have a blood serum level lower than the national average for this age group at a 5-year follow-up. This evaluation design will follow a non-experimental one-group pre-test post-test design that may be changed for future program iterations, as this design can be considered weaker than others as it does not include a control group. For now, this design was chosen to test the outcome and effects of this intervention as it was designed. If success is seen, future designs will incorporate a control group to combat internal validity threats. Process evaluation will be utilized to assess all aspects of the program implementation in a real-world setting. To aid in this evaluation, a requirement of the program will be for all sessions to be recorded on video with audio, so they may be reviewed for quality and consistency of the program across environments. Outcome evaluation will then be used to assess the goal behaviors identified. To measure these outcomes, we'll utilize brief food intake checklists, habits questionnaires, Likert scale surveys, as well as physiological measurements. Frequency distributions will be utilized to organize data from the multiple measurements given to assess the variables of the program design. Measures of central tendency will be used to describe the average value for each of these variables. Once this mean is calculated, standard deviation can be assessed to see how far each value falls from the mean. To further assess impact, change scores will be used to show meaningful change due to the program intervention. Pre-test scores will be compared to post-test scores, and each participant's change score will be averaged out. During analysis, statistical significance will be measured and ideally show statistical power around 80%, as as this would show a balanced and accepted level of significance. Because many of the variables are theory-based, professional literature will be reviewed during the evaluation to compare effect sizes in similar cases. This empirical standard review will provide a typical standard for similar program outcomes from which to compare. Effect size will be a key in understanding how much theoretical variables contributed to behavior change. Cohen standards for effect size will be calculated for the evaluation to judge the effects of the program. Participant retention failure is a potential issue that will affect interpretation of results, as statistical power can be reduced and fail to detect differences of practical importance. Because the target audience has reported that they have extremely busy schedules, there's a possibility that attending all 8 sessions may be an issue due to conflicts, Bay Area traffic, and unforeseeable events. Also, because this program is theory-based, there is a risk of behavior theory failure. The theoretical constructs are the catalyst for predicted health behavior change in this program. If that behavior change does not occur or is shown to be lower than predicted, it could be due to health behavior theory constructs failing as they have not been consistently tested. Once the evaluation is complete, the findings will be presented to stakeholders in a clear, concise, and graphically focused way. Thorough discussion will follow to ensure all questions are answered and everyone has a solid understanding of the results. Stakeholders will each have reasons specific to their role in the program in wanting to understand the success, and most will want to understand if the program achieved its goals and should be replicated. Because many of the stakeholders are local, they may only have an interest in the program continuing locally. The American Heart Association, however, will want to understand how well their funding dollars were spent and how efficiently and effectively resources were utilized to contribute to the program's outcomes. If the results show positive health changes, there's a good chance the local chapter will want to share the program with the wider organization. Ideally, the program shows statistical and practical significance and can continue in various environments and geographies.